Hi, it's me again. So, a year ago I filmed a debt confession video and then I just kind of disappeared. I didn't upload anything, I didn't update anybody, really nothing. I was just gone. And honestly, it's because my life kind of completely fell apart. Since then, I have became a single mom. I did pay off all of that debt that was listed in that video. I really did. So proud of myself for that. But then I found myself in debt again. So now we're gonna restart that whole journey, and we're gonna go through it together again. But this time I'm gonna make sure that I'm better about posting what I'm doing and posting updates and sharing more tips and tricks of how you too can be on your own debt-free journey. So this video is me just starting over yet again. I'm not going to pretend like I have it all figured out. I thought I did when I paid off all my debt. I fixed my credit score. Life was great. But it's very evident that I don't have it figured out because here we are again. So this is just going to be me being real about my situation, my money, life as a single mom, and how I'm surviving in this dumpster fire of an economy. So if this is something that you are interested in or that you can relate to, make sure you like and subscribe. I am trying to use this platform to spread awareness towards things that I have been through, that I've experienced, and I just want to try to help people. But hi, if you're new here, my name is Vanessa. And about a year ago, I opened up about my finances and became very vulnerable about the position that I was in and my current debt situation. At that time, I was very overwhelmed, embarrassed, and honestly terrified to even talk about it publicly. Like, I know people don't normally put their finances out there publicly, and that's totally okay. Now that I have found myself in debt yet again, I've been trying to find people on YouTube that I could relate to, things that would help me, and I have not been able to find someone that's in a position like me. And I know that there's no like one size fits all kind of thing for that. I wanted to put my story and my experience out there in hopes that someone can relate to it as well. So like I said, since that video, I became a single mom. I did leave a abusive relationship. Now, it was not physically abusive, but more mentally and emotionally as well. So if you can relate to that, congrats, like pat yourself on the back, because that was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do, especially having a kid. But I wish I could say that leaving that relationship is the cause of why I'm in debt, but it's not. Truly, I saved more money leaving that relationship because I was the sole provider for a family of 3, and now that it's just my daughter and I, it's been a lot easier in that sense. But I noticed that my issue with money is specifically like the gratification. I'm an instant gratification kind of girl. And it has caused me to sacrifice a lot. And now that I've kind of come to terms with that, I'm hoping that I can break that cycle for me and my child as well. Instead of hiding again, I've had people comment on that video asking for an update, and I've seen that that video has gained traction again recently. So it sparked the idea of, let's go ahead, film an update, even though I'm not proud of it, be vulnerable and put myself out there again. I'm not like the perfect like aesthetic person. I'm not a professional content creator. You are literally just on my iPhone set up on my desk. And I am filming this on my lunch break. Life is busy. I work a lot. I work a full-time job. I did end up graduating college, my AAS degree in general business. So we did do that, yay. I took a little break, and now I'm actually going to go back to schooling at the end of this year for behavioral health. So that's another journey I'll take you on as well. So on that note, let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty of things, and I will show you all my current debt situation, and then we'll work together to build a plan plan on how to make that go away. Okay, so I took the time and I already wrote out all my debts. Unlike the last video, I wrote them out with you guys on here. But I wanted to make sure I got everything and didn't miss anything. So this is embarrassing, but we're going to go one by one and just review the current debt that I have. I wrote down the creditor, the debt, the minimum payment amount, and then the interest amount that it is on, just as a visual for me. And then I also wrote out my total monthly bills and my income too at the bottom, so we can compare what I'm looking at. But drum roll, please. The first debt I have is Capital One. This is a credit card I've had for a while. It has a current balance of $1,462.08, and I have a minimum monthly payment of $51 with a 28.9 interest rate. I have a ton of high interest debts on here, and so I'm really struggling on figuring out the best way to pay these off, but I think I have an idea, so we'll go over that later. My second debt is another Capital One with a balance of $499.50 with a minimum payment of $25 and another 28% interest rate. Capital One again with a balance of $970.56, minimum payment of $30. This one actually has a 0% interest rate, and it is a travel rewards card. So I do get points back on this card. So this is definitely one I will be keeping once I pay all these off, because it is the most beneficial for me. A fourth Capital One with a balance of $295.31 with a minimum payment of $25, but that high interest of almost 29% again. My fifth debt is going to be a Credit One. Excuse my handwriting and my scribbles, but these are all balances that I just pulled today, 10 minutes ago before filming this. So these are new. And updated numbers, but this balance is $416.55 with a minimum payment of $30 and an interest rate of 27.49. I have another Credit One of $824.59 with a minimum payment of $42, interest rate another 28%er. Now we have Milestone. So Credit One and Milestone, they are very predatory. These are the ones that you get the offers in the mail for. And I signed up for these when I was really desperate and in a bad place on my last video. And then I should have closed them out when I paid out the balances, but I was so scared that I was going to tank my credit because I had just got it back up to like a 720. And so I didn't, and this goes to show that I definitely don't have the discipline, and I should have just closed these accounts. But this Milestone card is at $740.49 with a minimum payment of $52 at a 35.9% interest rate. Another very high interest card. Milestone again at $345.60 with a minimum monthly of $40 with an interest rate of 35.9 again. And then a third Milestone for a balance of $830.35 at $43 a month and a 35.9% interest rate yet again. This one, I have a Victoria's Secret card with a balance of $301.87, minimum payment of $30, and a 35.9% interest rate again. There's a trend. A trend going on, a trend of red flags, that's for sure. Since this last video that I did back in 2024, I did make a comment in that video that I was going to need a new car. That did happen. I ended up buying a 2025 RAV4 that I owe $44,985.95 with a ginormous monthly payment of $833 at a 5.9% interest rate. This is huge. This balance is huge, but I did get a 10-year warranty, and all of my routine maintenance, like my oil changes, filter changes, all of that are completely free. So that is the benefit of that. I don't have to worry about saving up for those just routine maintenance. But of course I need to save up in case anything happens or if I need tires or stuff like that again, but huge payment. I also have a Klarna account that I owe $745.72 on, with a minimum monthly payment of $43.86. This is a purchase I am ashamed of. It was for concert tickets, and the concert is in September, and I am actually very tempted to sell these tickets because the show is now sold out, and I could actually possibly resell them and make a small profit off of it, but I'm tempted to sell them just to get this deck on. Okay, with that being said, I have a total credit card debt of $7,432.62. If I add my car debt in there, it is a total debt of $52,421.57. This credit card debt is smaller than what I had in my previous video. However, bringing on that car debt, it obviously increased it dramatically, like insane. I am a 29-year-old single mom and living in a one-bedroom apartment in a tiny town, and I get no financial backing. I have no financial help. I don't get state assistance. I don't get child support. Nothing like that. So this is a huge number. And even worse is if we look at the total minimum payments. So this is monthly. So total minimum payments without my car is $411.86. Including my car is a total minimum monthly of $1,244.88. A little subtle foreshadowing. This is almost an entire paycheck a month. And just debt payments. This is not including my monthly living expenses. So, looking at those, let me shift this up here. My monthly bills look a lot like my rent. I pay $750 a month. It did go up. My phone payment is still $250. I still have 2 phones financed and my Apple Watch. I'm still paying on my ex's phone because he's on my phone plan. However, that phone has almost been paid off, and then I will disconnect that line. So that will lower that amount. My insurance. So getting a new car, my insurance did go up. So this number includes auto and renter insurance. I pay $305.34 a month. That's a big chunk of change. Electric is $132. I am on comfort billing, so that number does not fluctuate. My Wi-Fi is $100, which I have to have because I work part-time from home. My total debt payments are $1,244.88, which brings my total amount per month at $2,782.22. My income, this is without overtime. I do get occasional overtime now, but it's not like consistent, so I don't add that in there. But my income is $3,176, leaving me with $393.78 left in the month. This amount has to cover groceries, gas, dog food, bathroom essentials. This is what I have left to live off of per month, which is hardly anything. However, I'm going to find a way to make it. Looking back at all this debt, it is super overwhelming. And I'm really torn between doing the snowball method, where I go from my lowest debt, pay off my lowest total debt amount first, and then go down and snowball those minimum payments into the next debt, or the avalanche method, which is paying off my highest interest cards first. That is something I might go with that route, only because my highest interest cards obviously have the higher minimum payments. And some of them are like lower balances, like the 300, 345. With those ones, if I can get those down first, I should be able to very quickly get the others down as well. But this is my raw confession of what debt I am in. Something that I do want to do to celebrate a small win is I did purchase this savings envelope. Let's zoom you out a little bit. I have this 100 envelope savings challenge that I'm currently doing, and as you can see, I've marked some things off. This is something my daughter and I are doing together because I'm trying to teach her the importance of saving money. But sometimes as I was putting money in here, I had to take out of it to buy groceries or other like essentials. So I'm trying to do better at that. As of yesterday, I had almost $400 in here. But as we can see, that's dwindled down quite a bit because I did have to go grocery shopping. So I actually took all $400 out of this because I was so nervous on what groceries would cost me. And I ended up only having to pay $272 in groceries. So my total budget was $400 because that's all I had. That's all I had to make it. And I was able to make it out of that store spending less than $300. So that was a big win for me. But I did go in and I put that cash back into my binder to save it. And with these, like day 1, you put $1 in here. Day 2, you put $2, $3, $4, and so on. And at the end, once you have this all filled out, you will save $5,050. So it is my goal to save this amount by the end of the year, which seems huge considering looking at the debt that I have, but that'll be my sinking funds or a good savings for me. I think another thing to remember is that even when you are in debt, it is important to also save. You still need to have that emergency fund and you still need that cushion. So that's been the hardest thing for me to wrap my head around. Now that we have reviewed the debt, the embarrassing pile of it, I think it's important to know that debt is completely normal. Almost everybody is in debt, especially right now. This economy is not made to have just a single mom doing it on one income. I am working full time. I did get a little promotion, but the raise was only about like less than $1 an hour. So I am working towards being able to get another promotion. But I also run a small business on the side. So this year I actually had to license my hobby business. I was doing soap making, but I was forced to license it because of the income. And so now I do have a soap business. I can actually say I'm a business owner, whether I wanted to be or not. That was not something that I wanted right now, for obvious reasons, but that happened. So that's a win, I guess. But yay, I'm excited to get that off my chest. I'm excited to give you guys an update. It was well deserved and so much overdue, and I'm so sorry for the delay in that. But I want to continue posting more, sharing my journey and giving you guys any tips and tricks that I find that help me, that might be helpful for you as well. So make sure to give the video a like, leave a comment. I want to know, like, would you prefer doing like the snowball method or avalanche method with my debt? What do you think would work best? So I want your input. I want any tips or tricks that you know. Please share them. Like I'm open-minded and I'm open to any help or insight that you can give me. So until next time, thank you guys for coming back. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out that first video so then you can see the progress or the fallback that I made this video. Compare it, and then I'll see you on the next one.